Hello Creative Thinkers, my name is Jasper and welcome to Creative Thinker Inc., the home of opportunities. Today, we want to dive deep into understanding the importance of branding, why branding matters. So, when we spoke about personal economy, the thing that will separate you from the rest is your brand, how you come into the market and how you stay in it. Now, what are the elements that people look into when it comes to your brand? Is your brand reliable? Is your brand consistent? Is your brand emotionally connected to us? Is your brand connected to the culture that is around us, the audience that you're connecting with? Is your brand engaging? Is your brand eye-catchy? Is there eye-candy? So branding is not all about just the logo, no. Branding is about you as a person. So when we talk about the personal economy, we're talking about you as a person. We're talking about what you bring in the organization, what you bring in the organization. For example, let's look at Apple. Apple has 1,000 engineers, or had 1,000 engineers, or still have many thousands and thousands of engineers. But you know, who do we connect Apple with? Steve Jobs. Why do we connect Apple with Steve Jobs? Because Steve Jobs put an element to Apple that most of the people didn't do. He put in that element of unique marketing. He put that aesthetic, that beautiful aesthetic that connects with the people, that connects with the consumers, and you would connect with him. He was so passionate in that way. And Steve Jobs wasn't just the only founder of Apple. He was with Steve Wozniak. But what made him different from Steve Wozniak is that Steve Jobs understood how to sell his brand. When you look at Microsoft, I know we're going out there, but when you look at Microsoft, what do you think? Bill Gates. Why Bill Gates? And some people actually still think he's still the CEO, but he's not. But the reason why you think of Bill Gates is because of the story. You get it, the story of the creation. And Bill Gates wasn't the only founder of Microsoft, by the way. Him and Paul Allen, but Bill Gates was on top of his partner because of the story of how you connect with them. Locally, you look at Econet. Who do you think of? Stripe. Why? Because there's a story. Remember the emotional element that we spoke about earlier on, like the emotional element of culture, the emotional element of connecting with society. How are you connecting with your society? The reason why we spoke about Plot Marco last week is that he has connected with us. He's not coming from a point of view of the Eurocentric or the Asian-centric. He's coming in the point of view of the African-centric, the Zimbabwean-centric, and we can connect with them. And he can connect with different artists because he understands them, he understands their language, he understands their stories, and he can connect because he has created already platforms like Jibilika, Earground, and then they are merged. So your branding is very important, and your branding is always the story about your business. Branding is the story of your organization. Branding is your story to us, your audience. So take time to understand that your economy is different from Zimbabwe's economy, is different from Africa's economy, but your story is your story. And what are we going to read from your story? And when we read from your story, how are we going to be inspired? And when we're inspired, how are we going to buy into your vision? So yeah, there's a lot to learn. VBD Daily News, making business knowledge easily understandable.